Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining our investor webinar. My name is Doron Coadier. I'm the VP Business Development here at Foresight Automotive. Just before you take off the holiday season, we'd like to give you an update on the latest developments and commercialization efforts and share some customer insights about how Foresight's technology added value to their existing solutions. We are very excited today to have two important guests on our webinar. Mr. Lee Chong, CEO of SUNAWAY-AI. Hi, Mr. Lee.
Hello.
And Mr. Kosuke Sakata, lead engineer from leading Japanese Tier 1 Hitachi Astemo Americas. Hi, Sakata-san.
Hi, everyone.
The agenda for the webinar is as follows. Oren Bar-On, our VP Global Operation and Business Strategy at Foresight, will present the recent company developments in the Chinese market and long-term strategy. Following by that, Mr. Lee Chong, CEO of SUNAWAY-AI, will present how Foresight's multispectral vision delivered key benefits for SUNAWAY-AI. I will present Turning the Corner on Foresight's global commercialization. And Mr. Sakata, the lead engineer at Hitachi, will present the future of stereo for automotive and autonomous vehicles. We will wrap afterwards the webinar with a Q&A session. The questions can be sent throughout the presentation using the Q&A button on the bottom of your screen, and we will address it in the Q&A session in the end of the webinar. So, let's start with the webinar with Mr. Oren Bar-On, which will present the recent company developments in the Chinese market and long-term strategy. Oren, the stage is yours, please.
Thank you, Doron. Hi, everyone. Let me share with you my presentation for today. So again, thank you. And my name is Oren Bar-On, Vice President of Global Operations and Business Strategy for Foresight. As Doron mentioned, Foresight Automotive took a strategic decision to penetrate to the Chinese market and become a key player. And actually entering to the Chinese automotive about the opportunity. So as in fact, and it's not something that we estimate, but this is a hard fact, China is the largest automotive market in the world. So obviously you cannot ignore such a market. And not just in the automotive, but also in the autonomous vehicles. The automotive industry in China is backed up and motivated by a strong government support and fundings. In terms of numbers, over the last 5 years, autonomous vehicles and component companies have received more than $7 billion in funding. So it means that China is doing huge steps towards becoming also a leading player in the autonomous vehicles industry. As a result of that, Chinese OEMs and Tier 1s are looking for foreign innovative technology to enable high levels of vehicle autonomy. And that's where we are fitting exactly to the Chinese market as innovative company with a very advanced vision technology. During 2022, it was a very hectic market in China. More than 100 billion was invested in Chinese autonomous vehicle market in terms of mergers, acquisition, development, and business cooperation, and emerging startup. So this is a very dynamic environment. So actually, we were here that today there are more than 150 autonomous vehicles companies in China, and we are addressing the majority of it. And very interesting fact that in Beijing, Beijingers spend an average 1.5 hours every day on commuting, on rush time. This is more than 3 times as much as the average in US or Europe. This is another driver or another drive for the Chinese, market, autonomous vehicles market, in order to accelerate its technology and present solutions. So once we have decided to enter to the Chinese market, so some information about the market traction at this point. In order to become a player in China, you need to have a local entity. And this is the reason that we established a fully owned local subsidiary in China, Foresight Changzhou Automotive, enabling us to run our business and development efforts in China and build a partnership relationship with our customers. So this is a very major step we have done in China. We also informed and announced about some strategic cooperation with a local infrared guide IR as part of our effort to bring not just a software solution, but a hardware solution as well. And I will elaborate about it soon. We also announced about the commercial and supply agreement with SUNAWAY artificial intelligence technology and other cooperation and multiply proof of concept in China. So as I mentioned, we have a fully owned subsidiary in China, in Changzhou, which is a part of CICP, China-Israeli Cooperation Park. And another very important milestone is that we have announced signing a commercial and supply agreement with SUNAWAY for up to $51 million. And you can see from the picture that even today during the COVID situation, you can do a very, run your business in China, even using Zoom. So on the left-hand side, this is the, the team in Israel. On the right-hand side, this is the team in China and the SUNAWAY, of course. So a bit some information about SUNAWAY, and Mr. Lee, SUNAWAY CEO, will elaborate about it as well. SUNAWAY is a tier 1 which focuses on development, design, manufacturing, and sales of intelligent vehicle products. The core members of the management come from a very famous and a leading automotive leading players such as Bosch, BMW, Bike Group, and bring a lot of know-how knowledge. Foresight's stereo technology was tested by SUNAWAY engineers for more than a year for multiple POC projects in different use cases, such as agriculture, logistic vehicles, and especially under harsh weather and lighting conditions. In the background, SUNAWAY has some cooperation agreement already with Chinese airports for different type of vehicles, which are working very closely to their aircraft. Here, exactly where Foresight technology comes in with our visible light and infrared stereo technology, which is planned to be integrated into various autonomous solutions. We can already share that the initial supply will be during 2023 as part of a 4 years rolling forecast. So in a flash, about the airport geofence autonomous solution, which we are working together with SUNAWAY, different use cases, boarding truck, autonomous logistic vehicle, fuel charging truck, and other vehicles in an airport geofence solution, which we will be part of. The first project is a boarding truck, a modular stereoscopic solution by Foresight, which is integrated on a boarding truck in order to enable it to reach as close as possible to the aircraft. You can see this in this video. Our vision technology enabling the boarding truck to arrive up to 5 centimeters, reach up to 5 centimeters distance from the airport safely using our visible light and thermal infrared solutions. So looking forward, we will continue our efforts in China in different segments, whether autonomous vehicles, agriculture and heavy machinery, and of course, geofence autonomous vehicles such as airports and others. And of course, we will continue to be a player in exhibition, conferences, and face-to-face meetings with the leading OEMs and Tier 1. We are very pleased and proud of our achievement in China, and thanks also to our team, a dedicated team in China as well. So this is on my side for today, and thank you for your time. Doron, back to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Owen, for your presentations and for the interesting insights of Foresight developments in the Chinese market. As you all know, China is a very important market for Foresight. Next, Mr. Lee from SUNAWAY-AI will present how Foresight's multispectral vision delivered key benefits to SUNAWAY-AI. Mr. Lee will present in Chinese, and every slide will be followed by a live translation of Mr. Wei Du, our technical engineering and customer service manager in China. Mr. Lee, please, the stage is yours.
Okay. Hello, everyone. 可以听到我吗？
李总可以了，可以了，可以了。
好，各位下午好，很高兴今天与各位见面啊，并借此机会啊，简要的介绍一下顺为智能以及我们与 Foresight 的合作。
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my great pleasure to meet you virtually today. I'm going to brief you on SUNAWAY-AI and our cooperation with Foresight.
好，下一页。顺为智能科技是一家集技术研发、规划设计、生产制造及售后服务为一体的工业级无人驾驶产品的提供商。
SUNAWAY is a provider of industrial autonomous products, focusing on technology, research and development, planning and design, production manufacturing, and after-sales services.
依托行业经验和技术积累，我们完成了无人驾驶在工业物流场景内的多个落地的场景应用，赢得了诸多行业头部客户的一致好评。
Thanks to our industrial experience and cutting-edge technology, we completed a multiply of applications of autonomous driving in logistic scenarios, which were widely recognized among Chinese leading customers in the industry.
我们的技术和产品，
没事，李总，继续说，然后你要我翻的时候我就翻。
那行，我就接着说了哈。我们的技术和产品可应用于自动驾驶车辆、无人物流和运输车辆，以及无人商用车、特种车辆。迄今为止，我们商业合作的客户包括徐工集团、柳工集团、深圳机场等国内知名企业，为客户提供了100%的安全保障。可以。
Our technology and products can be applied to autonomous vehicles, unmanned logistics, transport vehicles, and unmanned commercial vehicles. Up to now, we provided 100% security to our customers, including XCMG, Liugong Group, Shenzhen Bao'an International Airport, and other well-known domestic enterprises.
近年来，人工智能成为国家重要的发展战略方向。顺为公司利用长期积累的科技实力以及领先的产品，有力推动了特定场景专用车智能化的快速发展，同时联合行业头部企业占据领先的市场份额。
In recent years, artificial intelligence has become an important strategic direction of China. We leveraged our technological strength and leading products to effectively promote the rapid development of intelligent spatial vehicles in specific scenarios. At the same time, we joined hands with leading enterprises in the industry to occupy a leading market share.
好，这里为大家介绍一下我们正在运行的2个项目。一个呢是我们在深圳机场海关国际快件监管中心，其在园区内有牵引车的自动驾驶诉求，我们为其设计的自动驾驶路线和系统如下图红色线段所示。
And here I'm glad to share with you 2 up and running projects. One is in Shenzhen Airport Customs International Express Supervision Center. The customer required us to enable the vehicles to move driverlessly. The autonomous driving route we designed as required It is showing in the red line below this picture.
另一个也是在其园区内，我们帮助实现牵引车的 L4级的自动驾驶。该项目目前已持续运营2年以上。
And another one is showing at the right side. Is in the same park, we help to achieve L4 autonomous driving. This project has been in operation for more than 2 years.
我们于2020年结识 Foresight， 双方人员积极对接磋商，了解各自实力。
没事，李总您说完，我再翻。
与需求很快进入了高效的合作交往。我们先后将 Foresight 技术在农机上进行测试，紧接着又在无人物流车辆、靠机作业车辆等特种车辆上面进行全方位多角度的测试。整个过程安排高效有力，让我们看到了 Foresight 的速度，其中技术稳定卓越的表现给我们留下了深刻的印象。在此过程中，以色列研发人员的专业精神以及中国团队的密切配合，都让我们对接下来的长期合作充满信心。
We got to know Foresight in 2021, and both sides actively contacted to understand each other's respective strengths and needs, and soon started to cooperate effectively. We tested Foresight technology on agriculture machine, followed by comprehensive tests on unmanned logistic vehicles and airport ground support vehicles. The whole process was well designed. We witnessed the efficiency of Foresight and were deeply impressed by the stable and excellent performance of its technology. In this process, the professionalism of Israel R&D team and the close cooperation and coordination of Foresight Chinese team gave us every reason to believe in the future with Foresight.
创新不以山海为远，纵使两国之间隔着3000多公里的地理距离，6个小时的时差，中以两国一直保持着良好的民间交往。普通中国民众在听到以色列以后啊，几乎会无一例外的赞赏犹太民族的聪明智慧。而中国呢，是一个拥有超过5000年历史文明的古国，在昔日为世界贡献了4大发明，即造纸术、指南针、火药、印刷术。今天 Made in China 享誉全球，以色列是创新之国，善于将概念变成产品。中国呢，擅长用市场将产品变为产业。中国是一个拥有14亿人口的大国，其市场与潜力不言而喻。
Innovation knows no boundary. Despite the geographic distance of more than 3,000 kilometers and the time difference of 6 hours between China and Israel. China and Israel have always maintained good people-to-people exchanges. Ordinary Chinese people would almost invariably appreciate the wisdom of the Jewish people after hearing Israel. China, with a long history of more than 5,000 years, has contributed for inventions to the world in ancient times, namely papermaking, compass, gunpowder, and printing. Today, Made in China enjoys a great popularity across the globe. Israel is a country of innovation, who is good at translating concepts into products, while China is good at turning products into industries. China is the home to more than 1.4 billion people. Thus, the potential of its market is enormous.
Foresight 进入中国以来，短短不到1年的时间，他们不仅完成了中国团队的组建，还活跃在各大汽车相关的会议、论坛以及各个主机厂，一遍又一遍向中国汽车厂商讲述着属于 Foresight 的故事，希望通过我们的努力，在中以合作的历史上留下浓墨重彩的一笔。2022，豆子，你先翻译吧。
Since Foresight officially entered China last year, in less than a year, they have not only established a Chinese team, but also been actively participant in various automobile-related conferences, forums, and doing demos on site in OEMs, telling the story of Foresight to Chinese automobile manufacturers again and again. We sincerely hope that through our joint efforts, we will write a splendid page in the history of China-Israel cooperation.
2022年即将离去，步入2023年，我们和 Foresight 合作的机场地面支持车辆将会应用到包括北京首都国际机场、上海浦东国际机场、香港国际机场在内的多家国内机场。未来我们还将在乘用车、商用车等诸多车型以及多传感器融合等领域加强合作。我相信刚刚签署的5100万商业协议只是我们的开始，未来无限可能。谢谢大家。
It's time for us to bid farewell to the fruitful 2022 and usher in a promising 2023. From next year, the airport ground support vehicles on which we are going to cooperate with Foresight will be applied to many domestic airports, including Beijing Capital International Airports and Shanghai Pudong International Airport. In the future, we are also expecting to strengthen cooperation in many fields, such as passenger cars, commercial vehicles, and multi-sensor fusion. We believe that the 51 million worth of commercial agreement we concluded is just the starting point. The sky's the limit for us. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lee, for your presentation and for the highlights on how Foresight's technology brings benefits to SUNAWAY-AI. And thank you for you as well, Wei-Du, for the translation. Now, next, I will present how Foresight is turning corner on the global commercialization. So let me just load the presentation. Okay. Okay, so let's start with our lead product offering, mono to stereo. First of all, before I dive in and talk about, the hot potato, which is the mono to stereo, I want to explain a little bit prior to that, the heart of what we do differently than a regular stereo. Foresight did not invent stereo. It's out there for a couple of decades. Okay, this is traditional stereo, 2 cameras mounted on a rigid beam very tightly in a very limited configuration. It has a limitation in terms of capabilities and accuracies, etc. One of the things which is very unique for Foresight, we developed what we call an auto calibration module, software module. Basically, we calibrate the cameras at any given time, and therefore now we can separate the cameras and take stereo to the future. One of the developments that we've done is the mono to stereo. Now, before I dive in and explain what's mono to stereo, just for you to understand, the automotive industry wants to make more out of existing ADAS systems. Currently, ADAS systems still have areas in which they don't work very, very well. And what we can do, we can create stereo 3D perception using existing mono cameras which are already on the vehicle and provide an additional layer. So let's see a movie so you'll better understand what I mean. Short video. So basically what you see here, this is a parking camera, an ADAS camera. It's already on the vehicle, okay? They will continue doing whatever they do, okay? Both of them are facing the same direction. An ADAS camera is in red, that's the field of view of the camera, and more a narrow camera. And the parking camera, it's a wide camera, a fisheye camera, that's in white. As long as both of them are facing the same direction, in the overlapping area between them, we can create 3D perception, okay? This is just a different angle of seeing the same thing. Now, what you see here, this is the raw feed that we get from the parking camera and from the ADAS camera. The parking camera is a very wide camera. It's like a fisheye camera. The narrow camera is an ADAS camera. Each one will continue doing their application. Parking will continue doing parking application, and ADAS will continue doing ADAS. What we do, we tap onto the raw data coming out from these two cameras, and these are two completely different cameras, different field of view, different resolution, different locations, and not connected on the same horizontal bar, okay? And basically, we create from these two different cameras 3D stereo. Now, 3D, the basic layer is a 3D called 3D depth map. It's a pixelized color. It's a pixelized image. Every pixel has its XYZ location in space. Red colored in red, closed pixel colored in red. As you go down, it becomes blue. This is the basic layer, on top of which we add different layers like what you see on the right-hand side. Okay, this is the detection layer. You see the detection of all the vehicles and the pedestrian in the end. Okay, so we're proving that with existing hardware, which is already on the vehicle, with a piece of software, we take it from 2D to 3D and provide 3D perception to the vehicle. Of course, taking the depth map, we can create point clouds. You'll see in a second. Point clouds, it's a different representation of a depth map, and this is how a LiDAR and a radar presents the data. However, as we're using camera, there's more resolution here, so there's more pixel per square inch, therefore more information. So it's very dense in terms of the information. And to summarize it, okay, the three main points here. First, the ability to create 3D stereo perception from existing 2D mono cameras. We're simply providing a piece of software. So the OEM, the vehicle manufacturer, does not need to add additional sensors. It just uses the existing sensors, adding software, and then he gets an additional layer of safety. And by doing so, obviously, we can enhance the detection and perception capabilities of ADAS system. So this is the most leading product offering, and there's a lot of attention in this area. Moving to another development, again, based on the ability to separate the cameras with the auto calibration. The automotive industry always wants to see further down the road, smaller objects with higher accuracy. If you remember, I mentioned earlier about the more traditional stereo. It's limited on how far it can see and the accuracy. By now separating the two cameras from the rigid beam of a traditional camera and placing them around the vehicle, we can now enhance the capability of the stereo. What do we mean by this? For example, we can put now the cameras not only behind the windshield, we can put it in the side mirrors, we can put them in the roof racks, as you see in a second. Again, this is only in the illustration. Obviously, it will be part of the vehicle. You won't see the cameras, it's just for illustration. We can put them in the grills, we can put them wider behind the windshield. There's a lot of real estate in which we can put our cameras now on the stereo cameras on the vehicle. This is one thing. A second thing is the advantage of by separating and increasing the distance between the cameras. If you see here, this represents a more traditional stereo, a very small distance between them. We call it a baseline. Let's say we look at a truck a little bit more than 400 meters away. You see that the accuracy, the accuracy error is 9% at 400 meters. We measure 436, but the actual distance is 400. So we're almost missing by, it's around 9%. This is not acceptable by the automotive industry. What we do now, taking the same cameras, separating them, they're not connected, and putting them at the sides of the vehicle, now we can increase the performance. So again, if we look at around 400 meters, the same truck, now we reduced the 9% to 4%, which is now good for industry. It's good enough for industry. So basically now we can see further down the road with a higher accuracy, which is acceptable by industry. Not to mention, again, we can create point clouds as well. In addition to that, we can do the same thing with thermal cameras. I think we mentioned earlier we talked a little bit, the talk about thermal cameras. Thermal allow us to see under harsh weather conditions, not only at night, but in foggy conditions and dusty conditions. Now, in this case, for example, this is a regular stereo. If you mount a regular stereo with visible cameras, you won't see very well under harsh weather conditions. This is a thermal stereo on the left. You see all the objects around there easily detectable. And again, you can place the thermal cameras anywhere you want on the vehicle, because again, with the automatic calibration, we can put it anywhere. And the more we increase the distance between them, the better the accuracy. So to summarize, again, scale cam, the ability to separate now the camera and increase the distance between them now allows us to see at higher distance accuracy with longer ranges, flexible camera placements, and provide 3D perception under harsh weather conditions. So this is the new developments in which we can do that lie upon the automatic calibration software I mentioned earlier. I want to take you a little bit to the latest success stories. Basically, these are the success stories of 2022. We mentioned already SUNAWAY-AI, which is a great success so far. In addition to that, we have a few more. Hitachi on the right-hand side here, and we'll hear Sakata-san in a minute elaborating even further about Hitachi. But Hitachi basically develops stereo vision. These guys are stereo experts. It's a very large tier one specializing in stereo vision in Japan. And they developed the stereo vision solution for Subaru, Suzuki, and other companies. And again, we did already almost 2 years of work between us evaluating different technologies. And recently, we finalized a proof of concept of the mono to stereo. As I mentioned, that's the most leading product. But I'll leave Sakata-san to talk in a minute and elaborate further about Hitachi. ZF on the left-hand side, another success story. ZF is the third largest tier one in the world. Beginning of this year, 2022, there was a contest, a pitch event at CES, in which we competed with other startups in the field of ADAS and autonomous vehicles, and we won the first prize. First prize is doing a joint proof of concept, again, on mono to stereo. And now we successfully finished it, and we're moving now to the next steps, the next discussions for talking about next steps. From a different angle here, we're now looking at another success stories for the defense world. Elbit Systems, the largest defense company here in Israel, has been thoroughly testing our technology for almost 3 years now. And this year we announced that Elbit completely took out the LiDAR as the autonomous solution. They use a LiDAR and completely replaced everything with Foresight's passive stereo solution. This is a great validator for our technology, and we're very proud of it. And this was actually presented, if you see the UGV, the unmanned ground vehicle at the bottom, our technology was presented at Eurosatory in the middle of this year. Eurosatory is the largest defense exhibition in Europe, held in Paris. And this UGV was physically there, and all the technologies among it, everything is based on the perception of Foresight. Let me show you a quick video. What do I mean by perception? This is actually the UGV autonomously driving. What you see here, these are different views of our technology. This is a thermal point cloud. This is a visible point cloud, and different layers of information we provide the UGV. Okay, and now it's planning a path to reach a certain area. It uses Foresight's perception in order to see the world in 3D. And based on this, it takes decision making. For example, in this case, it has an obstacle on the road. It calculates a different path off-road in order to go back to the path and continue driving based on Foresight technology. So it's not only autonomous driving, there are other autonomous operations, and we're very, very proud of this work with Elbit Systems in the defense world. Just to finalize a little bit and talk a little bit about the sales cycle. So up until today, and we continuously do so, we engage with clients, either through technological roadshow, in which we fly over to the customers and show our technology, providing them with prototypes, doing testing pilots. And this leads us to the next stage of paid proof of concepts. This is where we're focusing on demonstrating technological capabilities and validation according to customer specification and requirements. This takes, on average, again, depending on the statement of work and the vertical, somewhere between 3 and 6 months. And we have finished successfully already a few proof of concepts. The ones I mentioned now, Hitachi and ZF, falls under this category. And when we're successful with the POC, then we move to the co-development stage. This is where both parties jointly develop a tailor-made solution according to the specification of the customer, aimed for a specific vehicle and application. And this is exactly what we have done this year with Elbit, customizing our software for this unmanned vehicle I just showed you. This takes on average, again, somewhere between 6 to 12 months, depending on the statement of work and vertical. And then when successful, we move to a design win. This usually takes somewhere between 12 to 24 months to reach mass production, again, dependent on the vertical. And this is exactly where we are with SUNAWAY-AI, which we just talked before. And by the way, in this example, it took us less than a year from POC to a design with SUNAWAY. So basically, this is the update from my side. So this summarizes what happened in exciting year of 2022. And we want here now to continue with our next speaker. So the next speaker, please, I want to invite here Mr. Kosuke Sakata, a lead engineer at Hitachi Astemo America, who will present the future of stereo for automotive technology and discuss the cooperation between Foresight and Hitachi. So Sakata-san, please, the stage is yours.
Hi, everyone. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Sakata. I'm engineer at Hitachi Astemo America's Silicon Valley Advanced Research Office. We are searching for the cutting-edge technologies to make autonomous driving a reality. And Foresight is one of our best friends. Today I'm excited to share with you the success of our collaboration with Foresight. So let me briefly introduce Hitachi Astemo itself. Hitachi Astemo is born from the merge of Keihin, Showa, and Nissin subsidiaries of Honda, and Hitachi Automotive Systems, a subsidiary of Hitachi Limited. It is 66% owned by Hitachi Limited and 33% by Honda. Honda is one of our biggest customer, but we are also a tier 1 automotive equipment supplier working with all OEMs around the world. And Astemo stands for Advanced Sustainable Technologies for Mobility. We will contribute to a sustainable society and improved quality of life by providing world-leading advanced mobility solutions that satisfy our customers. And Hitachi Astemo's revenue accounts for 15% of Hitachi Group's total revenue. It is about $12.1 billion US. And Hitachi Astemo develops and manufactures all components of autonomous driving and advanced driver assistance systems. A particular focus in recent years has been sensing technology, and Hitachi Astemo has many years of experience with a 3D sensing device called a stereo camera. Its most famous product is the stereo camera sensor used by Subaru and Suzuki. The feature is that it uses two cameras to measure distance in 3D, just as a human eye does. This allows the system to provide safety in difficult situations where a single camera would be difficult to handle. Our stereo camera product can provide ADAS functions such as adaptive cruise control and lane keeping assist system, but we are developing the next version of our system, which will be able to handle more complex scenarios to meet the performance requirements of autonomous driving. For example, 3D free space detection will be possible. And 3D free space detection is a technology that, as you can see, recognized areas where driving is possible with a high level of accuracy. It will also be able to detect other small changes on the road surface, such as speed bump detection. We have been looking for breakthrough to make our such advanced technologies more advanced and variable products. And with our meeting with Foresight, finally it is starting to happen. We have been running a joint POC, proof of concept, with Foresight since 2021 to explore the synergy between their quad sight or mono to stereo technology and our stereo camera systems. Finally, we have succeeded in realizing a new 360-degree stereo sensing concept in cooperation with Foresight. Foresight mono to stereo technology. Mono to stereo is a technology that can provide stereo vision even with two cameras with different field of view angles. And in our concept, it performs 3D sensing for the front area. This is a leap forward from our traditional stereo camera concept. As you can see, this system uses two cameras, a wide field of view camera mounted on the grille emblem area and a camera mounted on the windshield to configure stereo vision. To achieve this, the two cameras must be calibrated with high precision using software technology. And this is what Foresight had the great ability to do. We worked with Foresight to build this demonstration vehicle and exhibited it at our Hitachi Astemo Tech Show 2022 in Japan. Of course, the support from Foresight is excellent. All Japanese OEMs attend and where they were able to experience these technologies. And we received positive feedback from all of OEMs. I would like to introduce just a few of them. Accuracy is better than monocular camera technology. It is a highly competitive technology by Nissan. I understood that this is an important technology for realizing level 4 autonomous driving. It has potential by Toyota. It can also be used to provide information to drivers. Very good idea by Mazda. This is a very smart way to make effective use of the cameras that are already installed by Honda. The success of the tech show and the positive feedback from OEMs is driving Astemo into the next phase. Hitachi Astemo will continue to work with Foresight to accelerate development towards the realization of 360-degree 3D sensing technology. We are now taking the next step towards commercialization and starting other project under a new contract. Yep. with that, I will conclude my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Great. Thank you very much, Sakata-san, for your presentation. No doubt this is a great cooperation between Foresight and Hitachi. We will now move on to the Q&A session. If you have any questions, please submit them by pressing the Q&A button below. Eli Yoresh, our CFO, will lead the Q&A session and will also answer financial related questions. So Eli, the stage is yours, please.
Thank you very much, Doron, and thank you very much for everybody that presented. It was very much intriguing. Okay, so we have a question here for Mr. Lee from Sunway. Wei-Du, maybe you can translate. There's a question about what is the total addressable market for Sunway in China, and maybe you can divide the answer for the airports, the gated fenced areas, and maybe for other markets and segments that Sunway is involved in.
李总，
我在的啊。
那个我们现在进入这个的最后一个环节，它叫疑问和问题和回答。然后呢，就是刚才我们的也是我们的 CEO 摘取了一个问题，就是说，对于顺为来说呢，我们现在这个市场啊，包括中国也有，或者是中国以外的地方，有什么样的这个具体的一些市场或者是看法？
基于我们对 Foresight 这个产品的了解啊和测试。我们觉得 Foresight 的产品在中国的话会有一个非常大的市场。第一块就是我们现在专用车辆、特种车辆这一块。第二块呢是我们现在顺为的合作伙伴，是国内也比较大的这个 L4级的自动驾驶公司。那么他们呢需求肯定也是会有的。也就是说未来的话还有一块就是主机厂，我们讲 Tier 1嘛。
就是一共是3块，像专用车辆，比如说这个机场车辆，还有一个呢就是国内的 L4自动驾驶公司，还有一些像 Tier 1，我的理解应该是一些科技公司，是吗？
那个其实刚刚说的这个自动驾驶公司，就是我跟你们之前有沟通，就是那个青州智行、视图科技就这种，你可以告诉他这种他们本身它也是 Tier 1，所以我们会通过它先做进它，然后通过它再给主机厂再供大概这个思路
好，谢谢李总。Based on our know-how on Foresight, our prospective market for domestic market, there are 3 areas. One is the special vehicle, like what we are cooperated now, airport vehicles. And the second one is L4 autonomous driving in domestic market. And the other one is Tier 1 supplier to the OEMs. That is our analysis for the domestic market.
Okay, maybe we can just, thank you, Wei-Du and Mr. Lee. We can maybe just add that for the airport ground vehicles, we know that there are about 400,000 vehicles in use in airports just in China today. So this is a very, very big market. And we are talking about an afterfit, a retrofit for this big potential of 400,000 units that already drive around aircrafts. Okay, next question from David. So there's a question about a cooperation that we've done with a European OEM, which we cannot disclose the name. And the question is, are we still working on this project? So we cannot disclose too much. This is a very, very big European OEM. Yes, we are still working with this OEM. Sometimes it takes longer The automotive market has long sales cycles. Some cases it takes less time. In the case of Sunway, it took us less than a year. In the case of Hitachi, you see that it took us taken us about 18 months. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. So hopefully we can announce, the progress as soon as possible. Next question from Rommel. Hi, Rommel. What could be the dollar revenue contribution from SUNAWAY-AI and Hitachi in 2023? Okay, so we do not give guidance at this point of time, so I cannot mention dollar amounts, but I can say that the revenues in 2023 are going to be significantly higher than what we will present or already presenting in 2022. So this is a significant step for us moving forward into next year. A question from Mark. For stockholders, what are your plans to try to get your stock price up over $1 so that you can stay on the market? Okay, that's a great question, Mark. We are already in the second period of the extension of the second 180 days. We do believe that with all the business and significant work that we're doing, hopefully we can get, naturally above the $1 mark, even though the conditions in the markets are a little bit tough today. But if eventually that won't happen, then we have a technical plan which will definitely help us get over the $1. This involves the change in the ratio of our ordinary shares to the American depository shares, and the effect of this kind of technical issue is that our share price is going to be above $1. So it is a technical issue, and there is no doubt that if we'll need to do that, we will do it. So there's no potential issues with the listing at all. Okay, there's another question about reaching out to Tesla or any other company to show our product. Maybe Doron, you can share, the road shows and the work that we've done in the US.
Yeah, of course, the US market is a very important market. Tesla, but not only Tesla, other companies as well. Obviously, we're doing a lot of efforts to be in the US. We have a local US person that helps us to promote our business in the US as well. We've been recently, and we're doing this all the time. We fly out to the US, mainly in the Bay Area, to meet with all the high-end, either electrical or fully autonomous, and we do it in Detroit as well for the more traditional US companies. So yeah, we're all there. We're showing it to them, mainly on roadshows, and even very closely now in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be at CES, Las Vegas. There'll be a lot of companies similar to these companies. So yeah, obviously these are very interesting companies we're dealing with, and we'll reach out to all of these companies.
Thank you, Doron. Okay, so another question which says basically you would do a reverse split. Yes, the effect is the same. This is not a reverse split. This is a change in the ratio between our ordinary shares to the ADRs. We do not touch the basic share, the share base of our company. So that's not a real reverse split, but it's the same effect. We do not need to address any short seller allegations because we are concentrating in our business, and we hope that we are transparent at all times, announcing all the public responses that we can, doing those webinars. If you're following our video vlogs, then you can see more information that we always bring to you, the investors and the market. And we are keeping our business as positive as we can. Short sellers can do whatever they want. And we have another question. There seems to be no insider ownership. Well, that is not correct. Actually, our CEO holds over 7% of the company, and management has additional 5% in options. So management in all have about 12% ownership in Foresight. Next question, we have a question about our burn rate and cash burn. So basically, according to the cash that we have today in hand, we have about 7 quarters to burn, which is, from our point of view, is a good and sweet point to be. We think that this cash will probably be sufficient for our current activities and operations. Of course, that as we move to the future and have more projects and more activities, we definitely will need to increase our cash burn, and this is because we'll need to have more engineers, more activities around the world, traveling, etc. So of course we need to burn a little bit more cash, but as of today, we don't see any pressure at all. And there's maybe one of the last questions to answer, an update about iNet business potential. We won't go into iNet in this webinar, but I do promise that in the next few weeks or so, maybe after the holidays, we'll have a specific webinar talking about iNet, because iNet has progressed substantially as well, moving to their first substantial agreement with Pango, saving life to over 3 million people in Israel. So we'll talk about that specifically next time. Let's just choose one last question. There's a question from Peter. Are you still selling shares through ATMs? As I noticed, the shares outstanding has increased. The answer is no. We haven't used our ATM mechanism from February 2021. So this is almost 2 years, okay? And the increase is very, very small. It's mostly allocations of shares to providers and suppliers. So no ATMs at all. So at this point of time, I would like to thank everybody. Thank you very much, Oren and Mr. Lee and Doron and Sakata-san, and to all of the attendees and investors in Foresight. Really appreciate all the efforts for coming here from China late night, from the West Coast very early in the morning. So wherever you are in the world, we hope you keep safe. Have a great ending of the year, and happy holidays wherever you are. Thank you very much, and see you next time.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.